Hello, and thank you for attending this demonstration of waterfallcalc.com. Waterfallcalc.com was created by DLS servicing consultants and programmed by WorkSmart database masters. Waterfallcalc.com provides a loss mitigation web-based and calculations-driven software designed uniquely for mortgage servicers and housing finance agencies who service FHA loans. Some of the key highlights of waterfallcalc.com: completely follows the most current FHA loss mitigation guidelines, which are mortgagee letters 2012-22 and 2013-32. As most servicers are aware, there's a lot of gray areas in these mortgagee letters, and we are in constant communication with HUD to clarify these, and whenever we can make a clarification, we make the change in the system. The system is also compatible with servicing systems, allowing information to be uploaded in bulk, saving time and minimizing keystroke error. It's completely compliant with HUD's documentation requirements, providing reports that show exactly how each loss option in the waterfall was considered and why it was approved or denied. It allows for FHA-approved variances unique to housing finance agencies. It's flexible, client-specific requirements can be accommodated easily. It provides consistency and uniformity in borrower treatment, which is very important. Reduces compliance training for loss mitigation staff, and it can reduce FHA assessed penalties for non-compliance. Today we're going to do a demonstration on a loan that qualifies for a HAMP modification that also required a partial claim, and we're going to assume in this case that the client has interface capabilities. When you log into the system, you're going to come to this page here, and you're going to click on Interview Loan Calculations. Immediately on the left-hand side, you're going to see loans that with squares and some letters next to them. These are loans that have been entered into the system, and these letters indicate what the loss mitigation option was that was approved for these loans. For example, this one was a HAMP. This one failed all the options. Forbearance plan, repayment plan. The ones that don't have any squares next to them are ones that have been interfaced with the system but have yet to be put through, because there are some additional questions that need to be answered before we can assess what the loss mitigation options are. So here's one here that we're going to start with. So I click on that, and as you can see, the information is already filled in because it's been interfaced or bulk uploaded from your servicing system. The key loan details, the loan number, case number, it's a Ginnie Mae loan. Reason for default is previous unemployment. All the reasons for default match up both numerically and verbally with HUD's standard reasons for default, so that can be moved over easily from your servicing system. The borrower information, property address must match the mailing address because the property must be owner-occupied. Original loan information, the default information. In this case, let's see, if there were previous loss mitigation postings or loan modifications, you would enter them here, or if there were partial claims or HAMPs, you would enter them here. In this case, there were not. The borrower financial information, in this case, the servicer was able to scrape that information over. In a lot of cases, that might be taken from the financial package itself, so you may be entering that in manually, and if that's the case, then these would be fields you could change. Borrower contributions, if the borrower had, say, an IRA that they told you that they had $4,000 that they could get out of an IRA and could apply towards a loss mitigation option, you would enter that here. In this case, there is no such thing. So that's all the information on the first page, and we're going to click Run Calculation. It's going to ask me to put in my initials and click Accept. It's going to run through some calculations, and the first thing it's going to do is it's going to ask me to click Forbearance and Repayment Plan to begin. So I'm going to go up here to Step 1, click that. It's going to do some calculations behind the scenes, and it's determined that the Forbearance and Repayment Plan have both failed, and you can see the Forbearance failed because all borrowers must be unemployed, which is not the case, and the repayment plan failed because there's insufficient surplus to clear delinquency within 6 months. It says please continue with step number 2 above. So I'm going to click on Loan Modification Entry. And it's going to bring up some questions here that need to be answered. The first two questions really only apply to housing finance agencies. FHA has granted some variances to these people for compliance to Mortgagee Letter 2009-35, which requires modified interest rate be lowered to market because of the restrictions incorporated in mortgage revenue bond structures. So a lot of you folks aren't going to apply, but you folks who are with housing finance agencies, you will be messing around with these two buttons here. It's going to default to the straight interest rate calculation. The new interest rate, you need to know the Freddie Mac 30-year rate, and you can click here, which will bring you up to the current Freddie Mac rate, which is 4.10, which I'm going to input here. We need to always put a percent sign. The proposed modified rate will be calculated for you, which is the Freddie Mac 30-year rate times 25 basis points rounded to the nearest eighth, which is HUD's requirement. The override rate, you cannot put anything higher than the proposed modified rate, but you can put a lower rate in there. And the reason you might want to do that is because, say, the borrower has been in the property for 20 years, and it's a couple, and one of the borrowers dies, and you want to make that decision as a company to lower that interest rate for them. You can do that in that case. The new escrow analysis information, this is the new T&I. This is the estimated escrow impound portion of the payment projected by an escrow analysis. The escrow analysis must be performed assuming a loan modification will be posted and that no additional escrow payments will be received on the account. The effective date of the analysis should be projected to the effective date of a modification, which will be the month immediately following the last payment on the trial payment plan. And we can talk more about that in detail if we were to do a live demo with you, because it's a little bit complicated, and it's an important key element to this. In this case, the amount is $222.85. The escrow shortage, this number must be entered as a positive number. And this is the estimated escrow impound shortage that is calculated through escrow analysis again. The analysis must be performed assuming a loan modification will be posted and that no additional escrow payments will be received on the account. The effective date of the analysis should be projected to the effective date of a modification, which will be the month immediately following the last payment on the trial payment plan. Do not enter projected escrow overages in this section. These should be handled outside this program, and again, we can talk about that in more detail during a live demo or in person. But in this case, that amount is going to be $666.47. The legal fees and costs, in this case, there were no legal fees and costs. But if there were, and by clicking yes in this field here, you're asking the system to capitalize any legal fees and costs that appear in the previous field, and a loan modification option is if a loan modification is approved. If you select no, then the fees will be included in the partial claim, but will need to be collected outside of a loss mitigation workout if a standard or HAMP loan modification only option is approved. Again, we can talk more about that in the live demonstration. In this case, there were no legal fees and costs. So I'm going to say save and calculate. It's processing the information, as you can see. And it brings you up to this screen here, and it asks us to check the loan modification. So I'm clicking on step 3. And it's already determined that the loan modification is ineligible due to the payment is not reduced sufficiently. So it says you are allowed to go back through steps 2 and 3 if needed, but to click on the HAMP entry to begin processing the HAMP, which I'm going to go ahead and do. It's going to bring up this screen here. The new T&I is going to be the estimated escrow impound portion of the payment projected by an escrow analysis. And in this case, that's going to be 221.94. And the escrow shortage, this number has to be entered as a positive number, and it's the estimated escrow shortage as calculated through a projected escrow analysis. Do not enter projected escrow overages in this section, and in this case there is no escrow shortage. Again, we can talk about more about these figures and how to figure that during a live demonstration. And the number of trial payments is going to default to 3, but as you're aware, some of you are aware, HUD allows the borrower 6 months to make 3 trial payments. So this can be adjusted if need be. So I'm going to leave it as 3, and I'm going to hit save and calculate. Just going through some calculations. You can see how much percent done that it is. Okay, now we're going to click on check HAMP because it's step 5. And it says that the loan is approved for HAMP. Once you get this approval, there are 2 reports that you can run, and I'm going to show you the show HAMP results first. This report can be emailed to anyone. It can be emailed to someone in your office, to yourself, to the imaging department, to the bankruptcy court, to whoever, to the borrower. It includes the claim limitations, as you can see, the target payment, trial payment information, target interest rate, all the loan original loan information, default information, escrow analysis information. It shows that it does not qualify for a loan mod only, and it has the reason. HAMP combination analysis shows a claim amount for arrears, deferred principal calculations. It gives you the breakdown of the partial claim amounts so that you can just put these in your partial claim and mail it off. I think this is a very big benefit to the system that it breaks this down for you. The capitalization summary, the modification summary, and trial payment, and the final DTI calculations, and showing that the loan is approved for a HAMP. The next report is the show waterfall report. And this is going to give you your just general information about the borrower, like it's been put in. The original loan information, default information, previous loss mitigation information, borrower financial information, borrower contributions if there was some. It shows the forbearance or repayment plan analysis and why or why not. It was in these cases it was not an option, and it gives the reason for both. It gives the reason why the loan modification didn't work, and it has the HAMP analysis and gives you the breakdown of all of that, the claim breakdown, the modified terms, the final DTI calculations, and this is what you're going to be able to image and save for HUD to quantify that you went through all of the waterfall and exhausted all of the different options and how you came to this conclusion. Again, that report can also be emailed to anyone. This concludes our demonstration here. We'd like to show you a live version of it at some point, so please give us a call or contact us. I'm going to leave this contact information up for 15 or so seconds so that you can take it down, and we'd love to do this live for you and give you more information. Thank you again for watching this demonstration.